Have you ever felt stuck after failing, like you're never going to get it right? Or maybe you've been afraid to take that first step, thinking you're not ready or that failure is too big to overcome. What if I told you that the greatest achievements in history, the ones that has changed a lot of things, were actually born out of failure? And I'm talking about rocket science, yes, literally rocket science, AI, and even the mindset behind NASA's greatest minds. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see success and failure and their relationship forever. Stick around till the end, and I'll share two powerful lessons. One is derived from the book that I have read, and I can literally argue that's been my Bible throughout the years. And the other one is a personal lesson that I had learned in graduate school, and it's related to what I have learned from this story. And so, first, let me tell you where this all started for me. The inspiration behind today's video comes from a book I stumbled upon when I was 18 years old, called Being Happy by Andrew Matthews. Now, no exaggeration, this book has been my Bible. Let me just give you a little caveat, because even though I really want to keep everything very captivating and fun, I want to be honest as much as I can. So that book, that version that I read, was a translation of the original copy, Being Happy in English. Andrew Matthews is an Australian writer, previously a painter, and the book has been published over at least 20 years ago. So now, again, this book has been really my Bible. I read it more than 20 times, and that's no exaggeration, throughout many years. And every single time I read it, it's still fresh, and sometimes I noticed that I really needed to refresh reading it. Alright, I remember a very fun and very powerful chapter in that book, and in that one chapter there was a story about a man named Wernher von Braun. Again, his name was Wernher von Braun. Some of you might know him as the founding father of rocket science, maybe you don't know, but he is considered as the founding father of rocket science. But here's where it gets interesting, even more interesting. Before helping the Americans and the US land on the moon, he worked for Nazi Germany during World War II. He was tasked with creating ballistic missiles, and believe it or not, he had a very strange way of answering to his supervisors. So he was assigned to create ballistic missiles by which the Germans at the time were hoping to hit London far away, and that was going to be the very first ballistic missile in the history. And so much time passed after giving the equipment and money that he needed, and his bosses basically had no joke around the expectations that they had for him. So one day, after so much of frustration and anger and no result, they called him to the office. And of course I cannot speak German. I can speak German honestly a little bit, but I cannot recreate that and conversation how it went. But this is what I remember from reading that book. Their supervisor asked him, what the heck is going on here? So when are you going to deliver a successful ballistic missile to us? And here's the most powerful answer that he gave, that really, after years and years, is still in my mind. He replied back to them, sir, right now we have failed 753 times. And as far as we know, the Russians in the Soviet Union at the time have failed something around 520 once, and the Americans have never failed. They have done no test. And here is the threshold that we speculate we need another 320 failures, and by that point we will deliver the rocket that you need. Just think about that. in such a situation that you might find it very threatening and so much of a stress, that's how he responded. He counted his failures. And guess what? At the end, he indeed was successful. He successfully launched a ballistic missile that hit the target that Germans were looking at. And later on, he was recruited by Americans after the end of the World War II. He became a important figure in NASA, and he helped launch uh, the rocket, the ship that they needed to send to the moon in the Apollo mission. And it's very crazy, but that's a true connection. The only thing that I just want to be frank with you is that those numbers that I mentioned, those are rough recollections of my own from the book that I read. I tried to find some evidence or numbers of that specific conversation, but the fact that he failed a lot of times and the fact that he moved to the US later and helped NASA, they're all truth. If any of you have any other information or any counter information, please let me know in the comments. Well, I'm drinking water and I just want to make you laugh, maybe, hopefully a little bit. So recently I learned that there is a technique called coffee mode, which you can drink something while filming yourself or being in front of camera to show that you're very natural and confident. Obviously I cannot drink coffee. I prefer not to drink coffee at this time, which is 8 p.m. in the evening, so I just had my cup of water, and that was my gesture of showing how confident and yes, confident I am here, basically. So let me tell you now the rest of the story. And okay, so and there are basically two lessons, cute quotes from the Foundation of Innovation. The same thing is true even with AI today. Every misstep, every hallucination from a language model, every wrong prediction is part of the learning loop. So all of these perfect looking, seemingly perfect looking AI tools, super powerful, that we have today, such as ChatGPT or Gemini or you name it, they are all based on this idea of failure. In other words, it's a constant loop of failing on delivering and learning and improving. So each time that they cannot deliver, or by the feedback that we give them, they just correct their failures, right? That's how they are programmed, basically, based on what I have done, the research that I understand. That mindset, that failure isn't the opposite of success, but a necessary ingredient, is what builds rockets, startups, skills, and even AI models. That brings me to my second story, and this one is sort of personal. So I've been to so many very rigorous graduate programs here in the US, and I had to work with some various advisors throughout the year. And when you're a graduate student, you are also working with someone who is your boss. Obviously, they're not as dangerous as the Nazi ones, for sure, but there is a same dynamic of power, right? So you are expected to deliver something at a certain time. And so at first I was sometimes hesitant to deliver, and I used to do so much of procrastination and putting it off. But then over time I learned, and sometimes I remembered that story, that instead of waiting until the last minute and waiting for the perfection, it's just better send a draft of what I have already put together and get a feedback. And even though most probably it's going to be a failed draft, it's better than just waiting forever, and getting a feedback based on that and improving and moving forward. So let's wrap up again. What are the two takeaways? Lesson one: from being happy, if you can learn to see failure as a data, not defeat, you become unstoppable. unstoppable. Sorry for that tongue twist. From graduate school, don't wait until it's perfect. Start, send, adjust, repeat. That's how you grow, and you can apply to any area in your life. And if this helped you shift something in your mind today, let me know in the comments. What's one failure that taught you something you still use, or how you might be thinking of using this in your personal life or professional life, whether you're in business, in your career, in your relationships, whatever area. We can always apply this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, of course, no pressure, but I would love to keep learning and growing. And I want to reiterate my gratitude for those who have already subscribed and liked and commented, even though that's still very small for me. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much to all of you. And that's it. That's for today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in next video.